Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Superdome in New Orleans as we get ready for the qualifying round for the world's quickest and fastest indoor motorsports machines, the Super Modified Mud Racers. An 80-foot-long course, the objective to qualify among the 4 quickest elapsed times over that distance. The first machine up, John Kreutz and the Magic Moments 1932 Ford 5-window coupe, powered by a 2,000 horsepower supercharged Chevrolet big block engine. He'll be up against the beautiful Bounty Hunter of Buddy Kuhn, one of the few full-bodied entries. Kreutz runs into problems, literally bogging down near the finish line, and that won't help him. The elapsed time, 2.46 seconds. And now the carbureted, gas-burning, full-bodied Chevy truck of Kuhn moves to the starting line. Waiting for the green light countdown, Kuhn readies himself and plows through the mud effortlessly. The elapsed time, 2.93 seconds. Not bad, considering that truck is giving up literally 1,500 pounds in weight to some of its opponents. Here's the defending champion and the track record holder. This is Oklahoma's Larry Jarrett, the supercharged Chevy-powered locomotion, and he'll be up against the fatal attraction coupe of Richard Milstead, another supercharged 2,000 horsepower Chevrolet entry. Jarrett holds the track record at an awesome 1.96 seconds. Both machines lining up, staging together. But Jarrett gets a huge hole shot on the brakes to stop. He puts the machine sideways. Jarrett, 2.03 seconds. Exceptional run, while Milstead puts down an equally strong run of 2.13 seconds. Mike Pasina, one of Louisiana's own, with the lowrider Ford-powered 1923 Ford T-Roadster called the Stud, moves it up against the beautiful new entry of Keith Metcalf called Mobad, another 5-window early model Ford coupe, this one again with Chevrolet motivation. Metcalf, in his first event with this brand new vehicle, stages up ever so cautiously. Sideways at the finish line, Metcalf all over the racetrack. Finally gets it stopped facing the starting line. He's upset with that one. The elapsed time, a disqualification 2:23, while Pasina goes 2.10 seconds. An exceptional run for the lowrider T-Roadster. Here's the maniac entry of Jerry Rector, a supercharged Chevrolet-powered Jeep CJ funny car. A lightweight entry, moving up against Richard Larson's Radical USA 1. You want to talk about a low-rider machine with a lot of weight towards the rear of the entry. This 4-wheel drive machine is a one-of-a-kind entry. Larson runs into problems, and Rector puts it sideways, trying to stop the maniac. Larson, nothing but problems in the USA 1 machine. Rector unloads a beautiful 2.83. That'll qualify for the time being, but a 4.09 second run won't help the USA 1 team. How about the bad to the bone 1923 Ford T taking on Bobby Kuhn's Delirious? Kuhn's utilizing Chevrolet power in his Jeep-bodied machine. In the other lane, a supercharged, fuel-injected Keith Black aluminum Chrysler Hemi in the bad-to-the-bone Roadster. A great side-by-side battle, sideways again, and nearly a collision in the shutdown area. Kuhn barely survives that one as the bad-to-the-bone machine gets big time out of shape. 2.45 seconds in the far lane. Kuhn, a tremendous 2.26 second run, and the drivers end up staring at each other at the top end. As action continues here at the Super Modified Mud Racing ranks at the Superdome in New Orleans, here's the way qualifying stacks up. It's defending champion Larry Jarrett at 2.03 seconds, followed by Mike Pasina's 2.10, then the 2.13 by Rich Milstead, and on the 4-car bump spot right now, Bobby Kuhn at 2.26. That brings us to this week's Power Drive. It was in front of 45,000 screaming race fans at Tampa Stadium that defending U.S. Harvard Association Camel Monster Truck World Champ Fred Schaefer in the Barefoot Chevrolet came from behind to defeat one of the toughest fields assembled yet in 1991 with this high-flying finish. Fred Schaefer is world champion for a reason. That's this week's Power Drive. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Superdome in New Orleans. A packed house of some 40,000 screaming race fans awaits the continuation of the qualifying round here in Supermodified Mud Racing competition. The first man up, Donnie Mars in the Hammer Time Chevrolet S10. He'll be up against the Terminator, Chuck Jacobs' radical supercharged lowrider Chevy pickup that appears to be one of the strongest and lightest out there. Notice the giant rear wing on the back of the machine in the far lane. The Hammer Time Chevrolet leaves the starting line. And a great side-by-side battle. The Hammer Time Chevy actually gets to the finish line first at 2.63 seconds, while the Terminator runs 2.70 seconds. Only 0.07 of a second between them at the finish line, but neither one will qualify. Remember, you've got to go quicker than 2.26 seconds to make the program right now. And here's James Tollison, one of the old-timers in the far lane with the Sandpacker, against the incredible Joker's Wild of Ken Slider in the near lane. Tollison, a great run. Slider breaks right off the starting line. The elapsed time for Tollison, 2.25 seconds. He makes the program on the bump. Here's Larry D'Antoni, another Louisiana local with the Addicted to Mud roofless roadster with supercharged Chevrolet power. An incredible run. D'Antoni on the brakes makes the program at 2.02 seconds. An unbelievable run for a driver coming back from a horrendous crash right here at the Superdome 1 year ago. That means it takes a run right now of 2.13 seconds to get in. Larry Kalikas in a machine aptly named Outrageous moves it up against the Big Blue Master Blaster. Problems for the Blaster as Kalikas' Outrageous takes it through at 2.52 seconds and won't get in. The Boss 429 shotgun-powered Master Blaster sits a dead duck at mid-track. 2.13 seconds, still the mark to get in. Darren Matthews in the Hyperactive, a Toyota pickup with carbureted nitrous-injected Ford power. But he will be up against one of the most powerful machines in the sport. Kansas City, Kansas's Ken Crum in the supercharged Chevrolet called Wild Thing. In the shutdown area, Ken Crum unloads an incredible ride. Darren Matthews in the far lane had his problems with the Hyperactive at 309, but this run sideways in the shutdown area, 1.98 seconds.
Ken, you have got to be thrilled with that kind of run. To pull out a 1 second effort, the second one ever here, this late in the game is incredible.
Yeah, it is. I'm really surprised.
You knew when you came up that the starting line was extremely slippery. Did you do anything different to try and get this thing down that quick?
Well, we let the tire pressure down some, but we don't have the bead locks a lot of guys have, so we couldn't get down too low. Seemed to work out.
Still incredible run. The second quickest pass ever at this place, Guy. We'll see you in the shootout.
So Ken Crum makes the program with the quickest run of the event, 1.98 seconds, only 200ths off the track record. A 2:02 for returning champ Larry D'Antoni. Larry Jarrett, the defending champ, is third, and a 2:10 puts Mike Pausino fourth. But coming up, we not only have the Camel Mud Racing Shootout, we have the return of Monster Truck competition from Landover, Maryland, all coming up. Stay with us. We're back at the Superdome in Louisiana with the 4 quickest Camel Mud Racers ready to do battle for the championship, including a young man who 1 year ago at this event went through the worst of times. Larry D'Antoni debuted the Addicted to Mud machine with this incredible crash, but now 1 year later is back in the Camel Shootout with a chance at the championship. He'll be up first in this 4-car shootout in the near lane against defending champ and track record holder Larry Jarrett in the Oklahoma-based Locomotion entry. The big white machine and the roofless red coupe utilizing nearly identical supercharged 2,000 horsepower Chevrolet engines. The 4 quickest drivers from qualifying now battle it out with the quickest elapsed time between these machines, winning the overall title. D'Antoni waits patiently on the line for Jarrett to get his big white entry lined up. Jarrett is no fool. A pair of back-to-back 1-second runs last year ended up in a victory and a 196 track mark. In this particular event, D'Antoni qualified at 2.02 seconds. Jarrett made the field at 2.03. A great side-by-side battle. D'Antoni airborne through the shutdown area. The comeback kid records a 2.06 second elapsed time. Jarrett had problems. Tire spin at 2.30 seconds, but D'Antoni's crew is elated. Look at this run. Picture perfect. Airborne through the shutdown area. Unbelievable job.
The big question is, Ken Crum. You saw him go 198 in the first round. Can he go quicker than the 206 you just ran?
I'm sure he can.
So you think this is going to end up with you coming out second best?
Oh, it's not over till the fat lady cackles.
That's for sure. We'll see you in just a minute.
Okay.
Obviously, the look of concern on Larry D'Antoni's face, but it still has to be mixed with the personal satisfaction of coming back from that horrendous crash a year ago to put down one of the quickest runs of the event in front of his hometown fans. But now 2 drivers are left to try to knock D'Antoni out of the #1 spot. Mike Pausina, another Louisiana campaigner, with the stud, takes on the awesome rear-engine, lightweight mud dragster of Kansas's Ken Crum. The Wild Thing machine unloaded that spectacular 1.98 second run in qualifying. Pausina's lowrider Ford qualified with one of his best runs ever, a 2.10 second effort. All Pausina has to do is pick up 0.05 of a second, and he can better the leader. But Crum has already proven that he's got at least a 1/10 of a second quicker advantage than anybody else. After connecting the cowling and putting Crum in the car, he now primes the engine and gets ready to fire up the supercharged Chevrolet. You'll notice these machines are still muddy from their first round contest. Under U.S. Hobbit Association rules, the drivers may not clean their cars before the shootout round, keeping the extra weight they added with the mud on the cars at an equal for everybody. The ground crew connects the kill switch that will automatically shut the engines down at the 80-foot finish line. Pausina will get the first shot at bettering the 2.06 leading mark. Ken Crum lines up in the other lane, but he'll be getting a solo shot. Pausina will be sent alone. And it appears that drivetrain problems may have set in for Pausina. We'll have to look at the replay, but it looked like the Ford-powered Aldred had no power going to the front wheels. That's exactly what the problem was. A 2-wheel drive effort of only 2.58 seconds. That brings it down to 1 run. 1 man, 1 machine against the clocks. Ken Crum must go quicker than 2.06 seconds to win. Unbelievable, taking down the banners on the brakes. Incredible crash. And his crewman takes a dive as well. Larry D'Antoni in the red fire suit, one of the first drivers out to see if Ken Crum is okay. What an unbelievable finish as Crum's machine in a huge wheel stand gets literally out of control, then can't stop on the slick concrete floor of the Superdome. The helmet comes off and Crum is apparently okay. What a ride. His crew helps him out of the cockpit. And the crowd can't believe what they've just seen. What an incredible run. On the replay, carrying the right front wheel, then getting sideways, taking down the banners, and a sideways hit on a 4-ton military vehicle. Unbelievable job. Of course, taking down the banners, let alone crashing into another vehicle, is a disqualification for Crum, but Larry D'Antoni...
Whether they're burning petrol or